Hello fellow paranormalers and welcome to this channel. The discussion for today is it's not a rant about forums, but it's an observation about forums on Facebook. Okay, and regardless of Facebook, I'm not trying to pick holes in things, but what I want to sort of discuss today, and it's just something that I'm picking up on. I've been doing EVP recording and such like since the 80s. In fact, actually, I think it was even earlier than that. When I remember back, I've always tinkered around with electronics, radios, tape recorders. I had reel-to-reel decks and all that kind of thing. And I tried all, I was into all of this. People seem to think that this is a new thing. And I do wish they would stop thinking that this whole EVP and ghost hunting thing is a new thing. It isn't new. It isn't like just happened in the last 10 years at all. I mean, apart from a whole load of other things, I've been doing the paranormal thing. It wasn't called, well, I guess it was called paranormal back then, but it wasn't labelled as something, like it is today. You mention the word paranormal today, and just about anyone who isn't even interested in the paranormal knows what you're talking about. I used to walk around graveyards. I still walk around graveyards. I walked around graveyards ever since I was really young. Before I was a teenager even. And I felt at home in graveyards. I was always fascinated by graveyards. I've always been fascinated with the death and the so-called afterlife and spirits and occult and all of these other things that people keep putting labels on. I mean, to me it's just all really natural. Anyway, I'm diversifying. I'm detracting from the main conversation. Anyway, the main thing that I wanted to talk about today, which recently I've joined a few forums, okay, specifically about ghost boxes, radio suite boxes, whatever you want to call them, spirit boxes, ghost boxes, whatever. Basically, they're like the PSB-7 or the PSB-11, only people customize them. I've done a hack on a radio that no one had ever really done before, and it works. It does work. I'm not a radio technician by any means, and there's just a general atmosphere. Now, I'm beginning to wonder whether this is partly what other people have sort of mentioned, and someone that comes to mind quite often is Scary Larry. I like Larry. He's a genuine guy. A spade's a spade, and he's straight up with what he does and what he produces, and I like that in someone. I may not agree with everything that he says, and why should I? Why should he agree with everything that I do? I'm sure that I've probably said things that a lot of people don't agree with, so hey presto, that's life, isn't it? That's how we all learn. But I get the impression from these forums that there's kind of an elitist attitude between certain groups of people. Now, I'd be very welcome to hear if anyone else is kind of experienced the same thing. On the one hand, I find people very welcoming and very open with what they're doing and very helpful. I've had some amazing help from people on these forums, not denying that at all, but I do kind of get the impression that there is a little bit of an elitist attitude to what people are doing with spirit boxes and radio boxes. And it's like sometimes people are talking jargon. They obviously know what they're talking about, and they know that most people, possibly like me, who have come into, like, if you like, the modern modern part of EVP capture and radio sweep boxes and all that kind of thing. I mean, as I say, I'm not a radio technician. I'm not going to go around creating my own boxes, and people have created their own boxes, and they have created, some amazing pieces of kit, really, well beyond my capability. But it does seem to be a little bit irritating how people are they're a little bit aloof to everyone else in the group, and they kind of say, oh well, it kind of gives this impression that if you haven't got a certain type of hacked radio spirit box, or if you haven't got the right kind of recording equipment, that you can't possibly be doing anything right, and I see it on the forum, I think, and this is where the frustration comes in, because I'm using equipment and I kind of got poo-pooed for that equipment, and I thought, hang on a minute, I'm really, really quite happy with the equipment that I'm using, and I'm really happy with all the kind of responses I get to stuff, and I don't need convincing anymore that the equipment that I'm using is not working. It does work. It works perfectly okay. Just because it's different from the equipment that someone else is using doesn't mean to say it's wrong. And I just found that a little bit frustrating, really. I just find that kind of attitude, and it's not just on one forum, it's on quite a few forums, which also makes me think that sometimes there's this little cliquey group of people that join all these forums, and then they start talking about things that are above everyone else, and I just don't like that kind of thing. I really just don't like that kind of attitude. And I'm also torn, like other people are, about even staying in these groups, because I don't it's that attitude that kind of winds me up a little bit, and I don't really want that from a forum. I don't really want to sort of keep feeling like, oh, if I say something, I'm going to be shot down, or I'm going to be in a roundabout way. They never seem to say anything directly, that's the problem. So they say it kind of indirectly, and then they start chattering amongst themselves about something, and you just get this impression that they're just kind of up there, they're kind of a bit snooty. I don't know, I just find it a little bit funny. Maybe it's just a personality thing, I don't know. I have seen an awful lot of other paranormalers talking about the same thing, so I guess that's the same thing that I'm experiencing. And I'm not going to get into any arguments about stuff with people, because it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of time and effort, because you can't very often talk to these people. They think they know better than everyone else, and no one else is going to convince them otherwise. If it continues, I'm just going to quietly disconnect myself from those forums, like so many other people have done, and just go my merry way. I just really don't... it's such a shame, this is what I always think about these things. They have good intentions, and they've got the good, a good potential, but yet again, there's always seems to be a cliquey group of people that spoil it for everyone else. And I often wonder why these forums seem to have literally thousands of members, and yet it's always the same cliquey group of people that seem to keep coming through. And then every now and then, like me, I'm a newbie to this forum, and you kind of get shot down for saying something, or instead of somebody saying, oh, have a read of this first and then try it and then see blah blah blah, you just get poo-pooed and laughed at for making a comment, and you just think, okay, I don't really like that. So anyway, end of this discussion, really. But I just wanted to sort of share that. I find it irresponsible and a bit immature, actually, the way some of these people behave. I just kind of don't like the attitude of them. But I think I will just stay in these forums for maybe a little while longer, and then just go on my merry way, really, because I don't need that kind of hassle and crap in my life, you know. I'm very happy with what is actually, you know, I'm doing, and people that I work with are doing, so, and the results. Well, I think that's what matters, you know, that's what matters. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again in another video.